Hi, I'm Erin with 5 Parks Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Today's class is going to be a class to calm your nervous system. So it's not going to be a very long class, but it's going to be a class that really takes us into the present moment and takes everything a little bit out of the head, into the body, and into the breath. Before we start, I just would like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Built. I've been enjoying their bars. They have a number of products, but their Built bars are amazing. So great that I brought an entire box of them from Colorado all the way to Costa Rica to enjoy here. So this flavor is lemon almond cheesecake, which is so delicious. They have a variety of flavors. And if you don't do nuts, they have options without nuts. And they are full of protein, provide a ton of energy. They're great on the go and will give you a little boost before a workout or after a workout or just while you're on the go and don't have a lot of time. So thank you to Built, and if you would like to try Built bars yourself, you can just go down into the description and click the link, and you can type in 5 Parks Yoga 10 for a 10% discount on your own Built bars. I'd also like to just take a moment to thank my Patreon supporters, my YouTube members, and all of my subscribers. Thank you to you for your support to continue, to help us continue to keep this channel alive and well and free to you. So thank you so much. So to begin our class, I would invite you to come into a comfortable position, seated position, or if you're uncomfortable in the seated position, you can lie down or sit on a block or anything that's comfortable. We're going to do some breath work and some silent meditation. So just some silence, just a moment of silence. Both of these practices can help your nervous system calm down and relax, even quickly. So if you're in a moment of stress or anxiety, or you have a lot going on and just need to come back into your body, pranayama, breathwork, and silence are a great way to do that. So let's start there. Again, a comfortable position, but if you are in a seated position, I invite you to align your spine and sit upright and even have a slight lift to your chest. If you choose to lie down, that's perfectly fine too. And I invite you all, if you are comfortable, to close your eyes. I'm going to guide you into a pranayama practice, and then I'm going to give you just a moment of silence before we begin some movement. So go ahead and close your eyes. And to begin, we're going to take one deep breath together, a cleansing breath with an open mouth exhale. So release all of your air, breathe in through your nose, fill all the way up. Hold it at the top and let it go through your mouth. And then begin to breathe in and out through your nose, coming into deep belly breathing. So just be aware as you arrive in this moment and connect to your breath of the length and the depth of your breathing. So really expanding your belly as you inhale, filling up, holding at the top, and completing a full, long, slow exhale and pausing at the bottom of your exhale before you begin again, inhaling deeply. Nice, long, slow, controlled exhale. The moment is now. The present moment is not just a progression of past moments, but it is alive in its own way, complete and perfect. And it is this new moment that demands our attention. Only in the moment can we be fully awake and respond to the real needs of ourselves and others. Only in the present moment can we be fully attentive. So let's take 5 more breaths here, approximately 5 more breaths in silence, setting an intention for our practice, calming our nervous system and being fully present right here, right now, relaxed yet aware. All right, gently open your eyes, and wherever you are, make your way to a seated position. So if you're on your back, just come up. If you're on your shins, just cross over your ankles, come into a seated position. So a great place to start with calming the nervous system is opening up the lungs, the heart center, and the chest. So we're going to start there. Movements will be pretty gentle, but it's good to get some energy flowing into the body and get out of the head into the body, being present in this moment. So on your next big breath in, lift your arms up overhead and then come off to the left, coming into a side bend. Exhale here. Inhale back to center. Come off to the right. Hold. Exhale here. Come back to center, bringing both arms up overhead as you breathe in, and then just take your hands right back behind your hips, tent your fingers, and lift and open your chest. Open your throat, lift your chin up. Big breath in here. And then as you exhale, just take your hands in front of you and walk your hands forward. Getting a stretch in the hips and the low back. And breathe in. And out. Walk your hands back up, and then cross over your ankles and come into a tabletop position. And just position your shoulders over your hands and your hips over your knees. And let's begin to connect our breath to our movements with cats and cows. So breathe in, Drop your belly, lift the crown of your head and your tailbone, and breathe out round your spine. Look toward your belly. Breathe in, cow. And breathe out, cat. One more round. Breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. And then come back to a neutral spine, tabletop position. Just take your hips and bump them off to the right and start to walk your hands to the left. And then just take a peek back out at your left foot. Walk back through center. Walk your hands to the right. Bump your hips to the left and peek out toward your right foot. Come back to center. And then if you're not already, just kind of scoot your way toward the back of your mat so you have a little bit of space, and we're going to come into heart melting pose. So keep your hips over your knees and start to walk your hands forward and bring your forehead or your chin down towards your mat, and hands just reach forward, fingers are spread wide. Nice stretch for your shoulders. Heart melting, so open your heart, breathe deeply here. Relaxed and aware. Another deep breath. And then release from heart melting pose and come back to tabletop position. And from tabletop position, let's make our way to downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and release your heels down towards your mat. Let your head be really heavy. Look back towards your feet. Make sure that your heels are disappearing behind your toes, so they're in alignment with your toes. Your feet are at about hip distance apart, and then just take some movements here, whatever feels good. So bending and straightening one leg at a time. You can wobble out your head so you are aware that there's no tension in your neck. You can take little circles or yeses and nos, whatever feels good for your neck. Continue with your deep breathing. So this is a nice full body stretch and strengthener. And just really opening up the lungs through the breath. And we'll take one more breath in downward facing dog. Release both heels down toward your mat if you're puddling your feet. And then look toward your hands, walk your feet toward the front of your mat. Bend your legs a lot and come into Ragdoll. Resting your torso on your thighs, taking opposite hand to opposite elbow. And once again, just make sure that your head is heavy so there's no tension in your neck. If this is uncomfortable with your arms, you can place them on blocks or on the floor. You can just sway side to side, maybe bending and straightening once again, one leg at a time. And just one more breath in Ragdoll. If you're swaying side to side, make your way back towards center. Release your hands to the mat if they're not there already. And then heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat at a 45-degree angle. And then just go ahead and start to lower your hips down towards your mat or a block and come into Malasana. So deep hip stretch. You can keep your hands on blocks or the floor, or you can bring them to heart center. And just releasing tension from the hips. Warming up slowly, even though this can be an intense posture on the hips. Adjust so you are relaxed, but stretching and aware in this moment. So 2 more breaths here. Exhale here. If your hands are not already on the floor, go ahead and release them to the floor, and then just slowly begin to straighten your legs, lifting your hips up. And on your next breath in, sweep your arms off to the side and come all the way up. Bring your hands up overhead, connect the palms of your hands, and then take a little bend to your knees. Bring your hands through heart center, and then we're going to do this 3 more times. So breathe in, exhale. Circle your arms one more time, bring your arms up overhead, and then from here, go ahead and heel toe your feet back to hip distance apart, and then reach your arms alongside your body, palms face out, fingers face down to mountain pose. So one of the most grounding of all standing postures in yoga. So find your feet. Be here now, grounded on the floor. So peek down at your toes, spread them nice and wide. Feel each toe touching your mat or the ground, wherever you are. Engage through your legs, tighten up through your belly, roll your shoulders down and away from your ears, and then stay active in your hands, engaging your arms. So strong, steady, grounded, and breathing. So take one more breath here in mountain pose, breathing in through your nose. And big open mouth exhale. On your next breath in, reach your arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, hinge from your hips, reaching your arms off to the side and coming all the way down into standing forward fold. On your next breath in, come up to a halfway lift, extending your spine nice and long, keeping your head in line with your spine. And then exhale, standing forward fold, Uttanasana, coming all the way forward. Place your hands on the floor or your mat and step back to a high plank position and just hold here for 3, 2, 1, and then lower your way down onto your mat, onto your belly. Take the tops of your feet flat to the floor, and then inhale, come up to low lift cobra, reaching through the crown of your head, working with your breath. Exhale, release. And again, breathe in, lift up. Exhale, release. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, release. On your next breath in, you're going to press up and all the way back to extended child's pose. So bring your knees wider than hip distance, toes together, hips to heels, forehead towards your mat or a block. Just have your forehead resting on something so you have no tension in your neck. Reaching your arms forward and take 3 breaths in child's pose. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Return to your intention. And really focus on the quality, the length, and the depth of your breath. Opening your hips, opening your chest. From your extended child's pose, make your way back to downward facing dog. Just going forward, pressing into your hands, bringing your feet back to hip distance apart, pressing up and back, releasing your heels to the floor. On your next breath in, lift your right leg high, step forward into a low lunge position. Release your back knee down onto the floor. Lift both arms up overhead. And then just look up toward your thumbs if you're balanced. Otherwise, you can take your gaze out in front of you to the floor. And breathe in. And exhale, release your hands down towards your mat. And begin to straighten through your front leg, getting a nice stretch in the back of your right leg. Option here to flex your toes back towards your right knee. And then as you breathe out, come back to a low lunge position. So you're going to tuck your toes under, lift your knee, step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. On your next breath in, lift your left leg up, 3-legged dog. Step your left foot forward to low lunge position. Release your right knee down onto the floor. Breathe in and lift your arms up overhead. You can look up toward your thumbs. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Or if you feel a little unsteady or unbalanced, just take your gaze to the floor in front of you. That always helps with balance and steadiness. As you breathe out, bring your hands back to the floor. Begin to straighten your left leg for half splits pose. You have an option here to flex your left toes back toward your left knee. It's just a different variation on this stretch, so whatever works for you. And then come forward and return to low lunge. So tucking your back toes under, lifting your knee, and stepping back to downward facing dog. Big breath here. And working breath to movement, we're just going to take a couple of rounds of nice, slow, steady sun salutation. So we're moving energy, connecting to the breath, getting out of the head into the body. So look toward the front of your mat, come forward as you breathe in, and forward fold as you breathe out. Breathe in, rise up to tall mountain. As you exhale, open your chest. So draw your elbows down, arms open. Look up, lift up. Breathe in, tall mountain. And then breathe out, hinging from your hips. Come into standing forward fold. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. So nice and slow and steady. Plant your hands on your mat, step back to high plank. Modification for high plank is knees to the floor. And then you can lower chaturangas in your practice to chaturanga, or you can come all the way back down onto your belly and repeat a low lift cobra as you breathe in. And then exhale, release. Come back to high plank if you're on your belly, and then all the way back to downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times, making any modifications or variations that work for you. Just really pay attention to the quality and depth of your breath. So come forward as you breathe in, forward fold as you breathe out. Rise up as you breathe in. Cactus your arms, open your chest, lift your chin, open your throat. Tall mountain, inhale. Standing forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. High plank, breathe in. Your variation, chaturanga or to your belly, breathe out. Cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. One more round. Come to the front of your mat and forward fold. Tall mountain and cactus. Tall mountain, forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. High plank and lower. Cobra up dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Lift your right leg up. Come into half pigeon on the right side, bringing your right knee toward your right wrist, your right foot toward your left wrist. As you breathe in, lift through the crown of your head, maybe lift your chin, open your chest. And as you breathe out, come all the way down into sleeping pigeon. So resting your head on something, your hands, a block, the floor, whatever works for you. One more breath in this posture. Press back up onto your hands and then just take your left leg and bring it all the way around. Either come into easy pose with your left foot in front of your right, or half lotus pose with your left foot on your right hip or thigh. Breathe in, lift your arms up overhead, and you're going to twist to the left, bringing your right hand towards your left knee, your left hand out behind, sitting up nice and tall, closing your eyes if you feel comfortable, and taking 3 deep breaths into your belly here. Deep breath in, release, lift your arms up overhead, and bring your hands back down onto the floor. Cross over your ankles and return to downward facing dog. On your next breath in, lift your left leg high for three-legged dog, and then half pigeon on the other side. So you're gonna bring your left knee towards your left wrist, your left toes towards your right wrist, and then just take a moment to breathe in and lift through the crown of your head, lift your chin, and then breathe out and release down into sleeping pigeon, resting your hands, your head on your hands or your mat or a block. And release, come back up onto your hands. Same thing as on the other side. You're just gonna take your right leg, swing it around. You can come into easy pose with your right leg in front of your left, or half lotus pose with your right foot on your left hip. And on your next breath in, we're gonna take a twist here. Bring your arms up overhead and then exhale, twist to the right. So take your left hand to your right knee, keep your spine nice and long, shoulders stacked over your hips, and then start to look out over your back shoulder. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes for 3 deep breaths. On your next breath in, release from a twist, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, release. And you're just gonna cross over your ankles and make your way back to downward facing dog. And then just take a moment and pedal out your legs. So releasing from those hip stretches and twists. Kind of a home base posture here. Reconnect to your intention, relaxed and aware and present here. All right, just walk your hands back towards your feet. So coming to the back of your mat or the back of your space into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. And then on your next breath in, reach your arms up overhead, connect the palms of your hands, and then bring them to heart center. And then bring your thumbs to your chest. Either take a nice steady gaze out in front of you for balance, or close your eyes. Take a breath here. Feel your feet on the ground. Listen to the sound of your breath. And we're gonna take one standing balancing posture. So we're gonna start by standing on our right foot. Since we already stretched out our hips, we're gonna come into standing pigeon pose. So from standing on your right, taking all of your weight to your right foot, cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex your toes back towards your knee, and then start sinking down into a chair position. This hip opener and balancing and focusing and grounding all at the same time. Standing pigeon pose. and release. So come back up, both feet on the ground. You can just kind of wiggle out your toes, wiggle out your legs, and let's take standing pigeon on the other side. So you're gonna cross your right ankle over your left knee, flex your toes back towards your right knee, and then just come into a chair position as you sink down, deepening the stretch in your hips. And then you can take a steady gaze out on the floor, just really focused, really grounded, really steady here, your standing foot. And come all the way back up to standing. Release your right foot to the ground. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. As you breathe out, hinge from your hips, come all the way back down into standing forward fold. And from standing forward fold, you're going to just walk your hands forward toward the front of your mat so you're in a high plank position. And from your high plank position, just release your knees to the floor. Come down onto your forearms. And we're gonna come into Sphinx pose. So take the tops of your feet flat to the floor and just walk your knees back until your belly's on the floor. And then lift through the crown of your head. So this is gonna be a great release of tension for your neck and your upper back. So let's start by taking our chin toward our left shoulder. And to the right shoulder. And to center. Now bring your chin toward your chest. Nice and easy. And then you can just kind of sink into it. And then maybe just take your head side to side. Come all the way back up into full Sphinx position with the crown of your head reaching toward the ceiling or the sky. And then we're just going to press our way back to extended child's pose. So we've been here before. Spread your knees wide, toes to touch, hips to heels, forehead towards your mat or something that is accessible to you. And take 3 deep breaths. Walk your hands back up and then cross over your ankles and make your way down onto your back. Once you're on your back, bring your knees into your chest for knees to chest pose. Give your knees a tight squeeze into your chest, engaging everything. And then as you breathe out, bring your knees to the left. Extend your arms to a capital T position with your palms facing up. Breathe in. And exhale here. On your next breath in, you're gonna just sweep your right arm up and over. And as you breathe out, you're gonna just connect the palms of your hands to the side, kind of rolling onto your left shoulder and your left ear. As you breathe in, you're gonna sweep your arm up and over. And as you breathe out, you're gonna rest the top of your hand flat to the floor. And again, so breathe in, sweep the arm up and over. Breathe out, connect the palms of your hands. Breathe in, open. exhale, release the top of your hand flat to the floor. On your next breath in, you're gonna draw your knees back into your chest for knees to chest pose. Pause here, squeeze your knees in, and then as you breathe out, you're going to release your knees to the right. Bring your arms to capital T position, so the tops of your hands are flat to the floor, your palms are facing up. Take one breath here. On your next breath in, sweep that left arm up and over. You're gonna roll to your right shoulder and your right ear. Connect the palms of your hands. Breathe in, sweep your left arm up and over, all the way back to capital T as you exhale. Breathe in, arm comes up and over. Nice and slow, breathe out, palms connect. Rolling onto your right shoulder and your right ear. Breathe in, sweep your left arm up and over. And breathe out, bring your knees back to your chest. So the last class posture we're going to do before Shavasana is legs up the wall pose, which is a nice gentle inversion. So if you have a wall nearby, I recommend that you just take just a quick second and reposition yourself so that your mat is up at the wall. I'm going to do the same. If you do not have a wall accessible to you, you can always just place your, well, I'll show you, place your legs straight up to the ceiling. It just takes a little more core work, which is great. So I'm just gonna position, mine is legs up the pole. So just position your mat so you can lie down, and then you're gonna scoot all the way up toward the wall, and you're just gonna bring your legs up the wall, rest your heels on the wall, and then you can take your arms and your hands into any position. So you can place them heart and belly, you can place them on your heart, you can rest them like Shavasana arms, or you can come out to a capital T. So just reversing the flow of blood. This is a wonderful, gentle inversion that really calms the nervous system. You can practice this at any time when you have a wall available. And obviously, if you're not at a wall, it's the same position. Your feet just aren't resting on the wall, so they're just straight up. It takes just a little bit more energy in the body, but has the same wonderful effects. We're gonna hold here for a couple more breaths. So if your legs are on a wall, you have the option too of bringing your legs to like a butterfly position if you want an inner thigh opener, or if you have a full wall that's available, you can bring your legs into a straddle splits position. This is just kind of added stretch for your inner thighs, or just remain in legs up the wall pose. Lots of options. One more breath here. And from here, you're going to make your way toward Shavasana. So you can just kind of release your legs away from the wall or straight down onto your mat, scoot back, and stay right where you are. And and just lie down on your back. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart and let your feet just fall open. Rest your arms alongside your body with your palms facing up and your fingers relaxed. Let's take one final breath together. So breathe in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. Now return to the natural rhythm of your breathing, relaxed and aware for Shavasana, our final posture of class. The moment is now. The present moment is not just a progression of past moments, but is alive in its own way, complete and perfect. And it is this new moment that demands our attention. Only in the moment can we be fully awake and respond to the real needs of ourselves and to others. Only in the present moment can we be fully attentive. Take this final moment in Shavasana to reconnect to your intention, and just take a moment to acknowledge the difference in your body, in your breath, in your mind from before class till the end of class. Knowing that you took this time for yourself and took the attention to your body and your breath and your spirit and your mind, and thank yourself for that. If you have time to remain in Shavasana, please do so. And if not, you can make your way out of Shavasana and return to a seated position. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to each and every one of yours, namaste.